Hey, I think you look better without the haircut. Seriously, I think you're looking sharp, mate.
Appreciate it.
Right then,
Looking loosey goosey, and he's little bit rough and ready, isn't he?
yeah,
I had a
women like
shave. I had a shave for you guys.
He's had a shave. He's got himself
Yeah.
all looking pretty.
Well, I
that.
thought,
Sweaty, if
I'd
that counts.
give the builders a good look for once, rather than being the stereotypical.
What have we been up
So,
to, boys?
yeah, not a lot, mate. We were just having a little chit chat there. Not much. Weekend, bank holiday, weren't it? Half term. So I'm sure people were busy. I know I was.
Mate, hasn't stopped. I was at the Restore thing, wasn't I, this weekend for the
Okay.
the branch organisers,
Yeah.
and I haven't caught the train for like 10 years. I worked it out. It was back when I was in the army. Wow, it has changed, mate, so much. Like everything's just dirty and shit.
I get the train every time I come to London to you guys, pretty much anywhere other than, when it's really up north, then I might as well drive because of the cost. But yes, I mean, I went to London. Where was it? I don't know, it was a few months back now, but I stood up the whole way there for a 2 hour journey. I stood up the whole way back for a 2 hour journey, and every single cart was crammed. It was sweaty, it was smelly. There was elderly women having to stand up because of the degenerates that had already taken the seats and had no manners. It's just a poor service, and you get charged 60, 70 quid for the privilege.
Manage decline, fellas. Manage decline. I think
We've seen a lot of it,
I
haven't
actually
we?
get to the point where I think they just run all this stuff down to see how far they can push it before people actually kick off.
Yeah.
Do you not think?
Just one big social experiment in it. Like how? Yeah, I do think. Yeah, mate. I think they think exactly what you just said. How much shit can we just shovel onto these people before they finally say, listen?
But it's
I've
like
had it,
tried
I've had
and
it."
tested experiments, isn't it? They do these kind of things in like throughout history. It's like, there's always the old saying from the Roman times, isn't there? Give them the games, give them fill their bellies, and they will be happy. And that's kind of all you got to do, isn't it? Ply everyone with sport, ply everyone with entertainment, and then you can just keep depreciating things. And at what point do people say, what am I actually paying my council tax for? Why is my electric bill so high? Why do all the trains run like shit? Why do they look like shit? Why are my potholes not being fixed? And it's just like this continuation of let's keep screwing them over. Let's make the NHS worse and worse and worse. What's the point? What's the breaking point that we can get to before we have to make it? How can we decrease it by 90% before they rise up and we put it back up by another 10% to appease them, and then we just carry on for another 10 years?
Maybe it's just greed. Maybe they're not purposefully trying to make things bad. Maybe they're just trying to get us to give more whilst giving us less, and it just so happens to be the result of that system. I tell you what, boys, before we go, have you seen, look at the size of that, right? That's a mosquito bite. I am covered head to toe, and when I'm everywhere, right? And when I say everywhere, I mean everywhere. Like, I am covered in mosquito bites, boys. So, quite frankly, Bruce, we've got bigger fish to fry right here. We need to sort the mosquito situation out.
We need to sort the mosquito problem out.
If it carries on like this, Africa are going to start donating £3 a month to every single one of us.
Well, we know why all them mosquitoes. We know why all them mosquitoes are coming over it.
Yeah.
I
Talking
just
of, sports.
just jumping into that quickly. What I think it's just easier to control us when we're all down and depressed. If we were all looking after ourselves, we are all physically and mentally fit and happy. I think we'd be quicker to react to all of this, pressure on us and the state of the public transport and all of this. Whereas keep it going this way, everyone just gets down and depressed about it, moans about it, carries on, goes to work the next day, still deals with it. And we're just easier to control. I don't think we're ever gonna snap and react to it getting too much. I think we're already.
Disagree.
I can't. Yeah, I kind of agree with it, but I actually think the whole. Have you noticed in the last 10 to 15 years, the whole health and fitness and gym thing has become massive? These huge accounts, people. Again, entertain the people, give them something to adhere to that costs nothing really to do exercise and stuff. Fair enough, it's good for you, but again, I just think it's another distraction. If you can keep people locked into trends, locked into these fads, that it distracts me. It's like the new modern way of fads and trends. I think are the new distraction, as opposed to what would be the old TV programs or movies or whatever. It's definitely shifted.
Well, do you know You know these workout channels. So we got I think it was a Samsung TV years ago, and you get free like Samsung TV, and one of the channels is, well, there's like 20 of them, are like, you know, the workout things, like the
I've got it.
Come on, guys, thrust those hips. Do you do it?
Like proper Mr. Motivator stuff, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
like what was her
only
name?
watch it.
Green. What was her name? Oh, back in the day, what was her name, Bruce? You'll remember. You're old. Green. What was her name? Green Goddess.
Great.
That's what
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah. Did you know 2/3 of people who watch workout/fitness, basically fitness TV, 2/3 of people do it sat down on the couch? Did you know that?
You're kidding me.
Perverts, that's why.
Well, they just sit there doing that.
Yeah.
Like sat
Yeah, you
down,
just feel
just
better.
giving it.
But it's like, do you remember the Wii when we all first got the Wii and we got the remote and we were like up and about, mate? We were like, whoa, probably going for it. And then you figured out you could just sit on the couch and just bat the ball back and two like that. I reckon that's...
It does, makes perfect sense because but well, I think there's you know, I know this is only going to be a shorter episode, but there's definitely, me and Swano were saying beforehand, we've obviously got Polanski has come out recently whining about the fact that left-wing US citizens have been banned from speaking in the UK. Haha, unlucky. You get what you wish for, is what I say to that.
And I don't agree with it, but yeah, you get what you wish for.
Well, this is the thing. Actually, I think this is where we can start off, Swano, because you touched on this. Me and Swano were saying that neither of us, and I'm sure you agree with this, Rich, believe that any of us have ever advocated for people to be silenced. Like if a lefty, I criticise Jack Dart quite a lot, the Facebook lefty guy, but I've never ever turned around and said, ban Jack Dart, he needs to, we need to stop him talking, because I feel he's fully entitled to his opinion. He can say whatever he wants. If people want to listen to it, they want to listen to it. And I think a lot of us on the right have very much the same opinion. We're more civilized in that sense, that we advocate for free speech, and not just for ourselves, for everybody. And I remember distinctly after Southport in 2024, I brought a video out, and it was probably about 3 to 4 months after it all happened. And the whole narrative started from Labour of the far right and shutting down the far right and people having their comments removed and videos removed. And I remember specifically doing a video, turning around to the lefties and saying, you might all be laughing and clapping about this now. You might all be sitting there demanding that these right-wingers, these speakers have been, and people like Lucy Connolly and people that say comments online, have them removed or they get locked up or things happen to them. But it will come back eventually and bite you in the arse as well. And lo and behold, ever since, since the Gorton and Denton by-election, I've definitely noticed this. And again, I think this is the establishment kicking back at parties they're against. Ever since the Gorton and Denton by-election, they've gone for the Greens. Massively gone for the Greens. In calling them out for their anti-Semitism, which was there prior to Gorton and Denton. But Gorton and Denton was the signal flare, weren't it? It was a threat. They then realised the Greens are now a threat. They can take seats. They can put this plumber in, win a seat. Then all of a sudden afterwards, you start to notice the rhetoric. The rhetoric chat. All of a sudden, all these anti-Semites are there. All of a sudden, the media are exposing all these people. And you sit there thinking, shit. Then they're calling councillors out. They're calling the party out. They're getting exposed a lot more. And you sit there and you're like, we've all been calling this out for years and you've said nothing. Now all of a sudden, they're a credible threat. Boom. Out comes the...
Yeah, I don't think they realised the monster that they created themselves. I don't think they realised it was gonna, I don't think they realised that the Greens would take off the way that they did. Or maybe they did, I don't know. But I think you're absolutely right. The rhetoric completely changed. Look, I'm the same as you, mate. I don't think anyone should be banned for their political opinions. Like, in fact, I'm pretty sure your political beliefs are protected under your human rights, aren't they? They're parts of, like... Your basic fundamental human rights is the right to have, political opinions and voice them through freedom of expression, which is another human right. So,
well, freedom of expression is a particular act. I think it's Act 8 or whatever under even the ECHR or European law. It is definitely a protected freedom.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can't abide that Narinder Kaur. I cannot stand her. She makes the skin on my eyeballs itch. She's everything I detest. However, I would never, ever want to see her banned from speaking anywhere, because guess what? We're not the fascists. And I don't know anyone on the so-called right who is a fascist who actually wants to ban people from just having their own opinions. So I completely disagree with it. What about you, Swano?
It's just common sense, isn't it, really? And I think we all understand that, and that's actually kind of what I'm fighting for on my journey. I just want common sense back. You should be able to say what you want to say as long as it's not going to cause harm to someone, as long as it's not going to cause serious, repercussions to a community or a religion or a belief. But, I disagree with many, many people out there, but I'd never wish for them to be silenced or to not have a platform to voice their opinion. And, I don't actually, although I fully disagree with a lot of people, I don't blame them for thinking that way. They've just had different life experience to me. They've seen different things. They've been told different things, and to have anyone on the left or the right, whatever you want to call it, just being silenced for just wanting to stand up for their country or even just their beliefs or their religion, whatever it is, it's terrifying, to be honest with you. It's not the freedoms that my great grandparents went and, fought for.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, they fought for our freedom of speech. They fought for the freedoms that we enjoy today, and I think far too many people for far too long have picked and choose. Like they've said, oh, we want, we agree with freedom of expression or freedom of speech as long as you're saying what we agree with. And it's like, nah, that's not how it works. I literally, for me personally, yeah, I don't care if somebody says something that upsets a certain religion, race, don't care. If someone says something that upsets you as a Sikh, a Hindu, a Muslim, whatever, that's on you. I don't care if I say something that someone else decides to take out of context, because I never do it on purpose. I don't try to offend people, but if they go, oh, that's really offensive what he said, no, you found it offensive. I don't think anyone should be silenced whatsoever for what they say at all. And if people are offended by things that other people say, well, that's on them. I would never, if someone said something to me, yeah, bearing in mind, we're all in the same position, boys. I get, you're fat, you're ginger, you got a massive nose, so you must be Jewish. Like, oh, look at your glasses, you look like someone put hair on Mr. Potato Head. Like, I've had it all, right? You're fascist, you're Nazi. We all get the same things. However, do you know what? I respect your right to be able to do that, and you should be able to do that. And I would never, ever try and take that away from you. I'll block you.
And do you know why?
Because it just gets annoying after a while. But
yeah, and you know why, don't you? Because you have the right to block and ignore anyone you choose.
Yeah.
And when you go back to the
Narinder,
yeah, you don't have to listen to it.
You don't have to listen to it, exactly.
And like with going back to what you said about Narinder, I blocked her on X ages ago because I can't stand her. Like I can't stand anything she says.
I had a bloody article written about me and her recently. Only a year after.
Really?
Only a year after I met her.
You've been getting up to with Narinder Kaur.
I went to a. Let me get this right. I'm sure it was a Nick Tenkoni. What political party does he run?
UKIP.
UKIP. Yeah, it was a UKIP march. And I was up there and I saw Narinder Kaur and I went up to her and said, we have the biggest race baiter online here herself. Narinder Kaur, how are you? Have you got anything to say? And she just kind of swallowed her own words, didn't know what to say. And I just walked off saying, well, she has an awful lot to say online, but refuses to speak in person. And that was it. I put it up a year later.
You were really polite as well. Like on the video, you were like, oh, well, okay, have a nice day. And you walked off. And I remember like hope not hate and all the rest of it. Were like, look at him trying to harass and abuse her because she's a woman and all the rest of it. And it was like, what? Like the amount of abuse she dishes out.
The headline was like,
to be honest with you.
Thank you. And that's how I treat everyone. I'm always up for a conversation. I wish them well. And even the people that DM calling me far right, fascist, racist, fat, ugly, blah, 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 blah. We're going to do this to your mum. If I ever reply, I still wish them well. And I say, look, everyone's entitled to their opinions. I don't think this is the best use of time. I wish you well in life. Have a good day. And 9 times out of 10, there's never a response because you've killed them with kindness. It's cool. That's how I roll. But yeah, I still got called all sorts by this this headline. It was, agitator, harassment. Oh, it was
what was that in, Swano? I sorry, mate, I haven't seen that. Like,
no, it wasn't anything major.
I can vaguely remember seeing a video of. This was early when you first started, weren't it?
Yeah. This was.
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember seeing the video. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
mate. Well done.
I'll find it.
I don't think I've seen it before.
Yeah, it wasn't any major paper. It was like some Liverpool rag basically going on.
It don't matter.
Yeah,
like it's published somewhere. It's fine. No, mate,
Every
good
comment
stuff.
was defending me, polite young man, respectable, he didn't do anything wrong. Have you seen our comments online? Blah, 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 blah. I just sat back. I was like, cool, I've done my work.
Do you know what I'm going to start doing as my background, and I think you should do it as well, Swano, and you, Bruce, if you get anything. You navigate this world so well without getting like hit pieces done on you. Get it all framed.
I'm actually shocked, mate.
One. Yeah, well, I'm not, because you're so you're very down the middle, aren't you? I don't think you say controversial things. That's the I don't think I've ever heard you say something controversial. You're just like, here's the fact, here's the source, go make your own mind up. Whereas I'm like, I think I'm going to get all of mine framed. Like,
and to be fair, mate, you're perfectly right in that. It's always... I get criticism. I actually get a lot of criticism because people are like, oh, Bruce never voices his opinion. But I do, because I do it here. I think you hear me talk real here about
he
stuff.
does after a drink at 11 o'clock at night, people, let me tell you.
Yes, I do.
He sat around a table.
Get that man.
Yeah, I just think well, I do this for a living, don't I? So I'm not careful about what I say. I've learnt how to say what I need to say without pushing the boat too far. And I don't think the lefties, even Jack, like I did my little piece on Jack Dart, I was waiting for him to come back and just try and do something. But the thing is, they're not going to find anything on me. They're not going to find some secret payments. They're not going to find me aligned with Israel. They're not going to find anything. I'm not aligned with political parties. I haven't got some backdoor skeleton. There's nothing. I'm an ex-college assessor an ex-builder who just started talking online. They have nothing on me, so they can't do anything with it.
You don't engage online.
Well, they have nothing on. They have nothing on Peter Mandelson after all of his WhatsApp messages went missing. So
Does anyone know what's actually just... I was literally just driving in now, and it's come on the radio that a second lot of documents have been released. Does anyone actually know what...
1,500 pages, but it's going to be like it's the whole exposed. But I think they'll be redacted. I'll guarantee they'll be redacted.
Yeah, it will.
There's so much redacted in there. So much. It's quite scary how much is redacted in there. I have one quote from it, which is talking about an exchange on WhatsApp between Pat McFadden, and he had wrote to Peter Mandelson that every meeting I have is who can we tax in order to pay our benefits to others. That's what he is saying that every Labour meeting is. So there you go. Yeah. The whole we're not going to tax anyone. That is an insider saying that every meeting they had was who can we tax in order to give other people benefits. And that is the state of our country right now.
If that gets quoted.
Why?
Manage the climb, Rich. Manage the climb,
yeah, but why? Because when we talk about, obviously, we talk about things like, the Great Replacement Theory. We're talking about managed decline. But why? Is it just that we're so unproductive as Caucasians now? We don't have children. We don't work very hard. Like, we're just not sustainable. There are less babies being born than there are Caucasians going on to retirement. What's it called? What's it called, Bruce? You'll know. You're nearly there. What's it called? Retirement benefits. No, what's it called?
Pension.
What's it called?
Pension.
Thank you very much. So you pulled a face, but you knew.
Which most people don't. Well, I don't think Aaron will get a pension. I think he's too young.
I've paid into 4 pensions over 16 years, thank you. I was actually offended by the fact Bruce will know what this is. What is that retirement?
Have you paid into private?
Some back of what you've paid in.
I'm not going to get anything.
Get some back.
I won't get fuck all because they want us to be 77 before we claim anything, and I'm type 1 diabetic, I can tell you. 77's a push.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But
going back to what you said, Rich, I think it's just where we opened this up with. I think it's just how much can they just keep chipping away bit by bit, and it's stupid. I think when you actually start to like Chess 2, PFI, increasing in taxes, the VAT, all these little things that they introduce gradually, 3p per mile, pay per mile taxes, ULEZ, all these little things just get incremented on top of everything. And it's every single time you get kickoffs, you get petitions, they see what they can ignore. I think I still believe that they're trying to get the general public to rise up in a way that they can condemn wholly and institute something like martial law or a clamp down on society because society's become unruly. And that's what I think their ultimate goal is. But I think, mate, like when you go back to saying what you said earlier about people in Western countries, especially white people, are not having as many kids, I personally believe, and I don't mean this in any kind of derogatory way, but if you look at a country like South Africa, they're not really that bothered about how many kids they have because they don't. The economy and the structure of society there is completely different to ours. We're a very westernized capitalistic society. If you look at South Africa, it's not. And I don't mean this, I know it's not everywhere, and this is, again, is not a degrading thing. Most of their day evolves around farming their fields, feeding their kids, like getting the rice, going to get the water. They have very different concerns to what we do. And I think what's happened is society has been manipulated in such a way monetarily and from tax and the cost of living that people are choosing not to have children now because they simply can't afford them. And I know this from personal experience. I spent most of my 30s saying I don't really want to have. That's why I'm a late dad. I had my son when I was like 41 years old. I didn't want to have kids because I didn't feel financially responsible enough or financially secure enough to look after a child in our society. Whereas in other countries, they don't necessarily have that. They don't have a capitalistic society that has these burdens on them. So they just have kids because that's what they do. And I don't mean that to sound like a medieval viewpoint, but if you look at it, you look at the comparisons, look at the countries, look at where this is going on, where these explosive birth rates are happening, they're all very third worldy, second worldy countries. And what we're seeing again is then this migration push to get people into the westernized culture to then put them on benefits. That destabilizes us because we pay more in, they tax us more, give more benefits out. We gradually get whittled down and down and down and down and down. So it's like an erosion. And it goes back to what we said at the start of this. I generally do believe it is the slow decline of Western society reached not a peak, but a peak for what we could achieve as working class, i.e. steel mills, coal mines, etc., like the boots on the ground working class stuff. There's obviously an AI robotics push coming in the fourth industrial revolution. And I think it's a switch around. And you can look at it. Are there good people out there who want to make a society where we're all living the life of Riley and we're all comfortable, own nothing but be happy society, but people are genuinely happy because they've got time to keep fit and eat well and haven't really got to worry about work because it's all automated and we just get paid a universal income? That can go one of two ways. That can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on who's operating it. Or do they just want to push us into a state of decline that we rise up, say we've had enough, and then they institute something else? I just think it's all too convenient across too many countries, what we're seeing happening in multiple locations on different axes of the globe, that you can't sit there and say that this isn't managed, that this isn't being done deliberately. Sorry, Aaron.
Well, in my opinion, 100% is being done deliberately, and you kind of touched up on it at the end. But back in one of the first two episodes we did, I mentioned sort of a socialist slash communist AI and robotic driven, including universal basic income sort of society. And I do genuinely believe that that is where we're headed. I think the reason mass unemployment is around at the moment, I mean, I saw a horrifying stat about for every one young Brit employed in this country, it's 27 young migrants employed in this country at the moment,
true.
which is
that really a stat?
Terrifying.
That's real. Yeah. I did a video on that the other day. Yeah. I looked into it. That's how I know.
So
yeah,
go on,
ahead, mate. Sorry. Well, it's being done purposefully. So yeah, that stat is bang on. 27 migrants every single year now in the UK being hired for every one white person, native Brit here in the UK. Particularly young white males, they are the most kind of disenfranchised people now. In fact, they are the most, they're doing the worst at school. They're not getting the college placements. They're not getting accepted at universities. They're not getting jobs. They're literally being, kicked to the curb. On top of what you were saying, Bruce, I think, yeah, there are more things happening. So I think at the nucleus of it, I think we, across Western societies, we created countries, cities, towns, villages, where because we're very, very intelligent as a people, we just are. We have some of the highest IQ in the world, and countries do have average IQs. You look at Nepal, for example, I think it's 72. You look at Somalia, I think it's 64. You can go away.
Yeah, it's low, isn't it?
It's there or thereabouts. It's really low. You look at Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, you're looking mid-70s. Now, here in the UK, if an adult were to go to college, and IQ is not the only marker for intelligence, we know that, but it's a pretty good indicator. To go to college or university and they were to sit you down and say, let's do a basic IQ test, and you scored the same as the average Somalian, Iraqi, Syrian, Afghan, you would be classed as, how's the right way to put this without offending too many people? You'd be mentally deficient, okay? They would say that you are below average IQ, and that'd be putting it lightly. However, DEI is still pushing these people into piloting positions, nurses, doctors, engineers, and all the rest of it. It's absurd. What I think is happening is, here in the UK, you look at Poland, Switzerland, you look at, even places like Latvia, Hungary, Germany, France, Italy. High IQ societies, high IQ countries, high IQ people have created lives that are so good that we kind of came to expect it to be that good because, well, we built it. It wasn't the government that built it. It wasn't our local council. We built this. So we expected it. We expected to have good healthcare. We expect to have a good police force, good housing, good job opportunities. However, if you want to control people en masse, I think allowing them to expect that is probably the worst thing you could do. So what they're doing is they're shipping people in from these low IQ societies. And people who've lived here their whole lives, they're being told, guess what? Men can be women, women can be men. Being straight, are you sure? Are you sure you're straight? Because guess what? It's not just, gay, bisexual or straight. It's a whole spectrum, You just might be a little bit gay, you might just be a little bit lesbian. There's, a nuclear family, for example, that used to be like the dream.
That was the staple, wasn't it? Yeah.
Like, you just wanted to settle down with your wife, you had your kids, you had your relatively mediocre job that paid the bills, you could go on holiday once a year, you could live comfortably, you couldn't go mad. But as long as you, watched the pennies and budgeted, you could live a very good life. We came to expect that. And when you are a government, when you're wanting socialism, when you're wanting to control people, the last thing you want to do is try and control people who have high standards. So yeah, I think you're right. Sorry, I'm probably going on a little bit now.
No, I think it's right.
It's
perfect.
Yes, it's bringing the lower people, like we said, touching on second and third world countries. It's bringing second and third world countries into our society. They see the golden nectar, so to speak, and they all want to flock here because they realise there's an easy route into it, be it Europe, America, Australia, Canada, here. I did say Europe, didn't I? Europe as a whole. And it's a balancing act, isn't it? I think we've reached the peak here. You've got a lot of people, and they're trying to just, maybe not all the way,
yeah, and
but
to be
enough.
clear, and to be perfectly clear, no one in England should be getting more job opportunities than the English. No one in Wales, Scotland, Ireland, Northern Ireland. If you go to Japan, if I decided, right, that's it, I'm going to work in Japan, and I took off to Japan, right, family, come on, let's go, we're going. I would never dream of complaining if a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year down the line, I was like, they're not giving me a job. I can't speak Japanese, but they're not giving me a job. Why do they keep giving the job to the Japanese people? Like, because it's their country, they should be getting all the jobs, they should be getting first refusal. Fucking madness. It's accepted everywhere else but here.
And what's even worse, we're getting last refusal.
If you look at, this is really interesting, actually, because if you look at us, if you look at the United Kingdom, yes, we have rundown areas, but most people, apart from obviously, we know we've got homeless people, we know we have people that are living in less ideal situations than us. But even if you took someone in relative poverty in this country, they still have the ability that there are still functions and systems to feed kids, to give them money, to give them access, to put a roof over their head. Yes, obviously there are people that miss out on heating and stuff because I think sometimes they don't know how to fill forms out or they're not claiming the right things. But the systems are there. But when you look at a nation like China or a nation like Japan, how many times do you see, if you went to, you've got regions of China that effectively live in the 18th, 19th century. They live in huts, they live in these communities, they're fully rural farm areas that don't want to progress. Then you go to a major city in China and it's fucking tech heavy, robotics everywhere. There's such a blend of difference in those massive, obviously got 1.4 billion people in China. So huge. But Japan's very similar as well. You've got a lot of the people that believe in their old kind of, I wouldn't say medieval, but their samurai belief, the old ancient history of Japan. They live in the mountains. And there's a lot of communities like that. Then you've got the very tech-heavy cities like Tokyo. But when you look at the UK, yes, we have very, very tiny, small minority communities of people that might go off grid, where you might get 100, 200 people living off grid somewhere. Obviously, you can talk to the traveling community about this, but the vast majority of our society are living a capitalistic lifestyle, and we're not used to it. And when we start getting pulled down, we don't like it. And I think that's what they're doing, is they're gradually just chipping away at that kind of even stupid stuff, fellas, like making your chocolate bars half the size of what they used to be for what you pay for them. Just silly little things that gradually chip away at stuff. No, but the thing is, I think it's to try and take us down off our pedestal a little bit, which I think all of us kind of have a little bit of ego about who we are, who Britain is, what we represent, who we think we are in the world. And I think
Rightly
what they're
so.
trying to do is equalize
Pride.
global society. Yeah.
I, I
National
was reading
pride. They're
something before
trying.
I came on here with you guys, and it was just a list of what Britain's achieved, and it just made me feel proud. I don't know how anybody can feel guilty about, ending modern day slavery and giving so much to the world, creating opportunity. Yes, we've done our bad things, but there's bad. Every nation in the world has done bad. So, like, does everyone feel guilty, or is it just us?
I don't feel, but the thing
Embarrassing.
is it's not us that feels guilty. It's radicalized lefties that are the ones that trumpet this narrative, because I don't think most people do, and I think
It's the
that's what they're trying
education
to do. Is
system
that,
that's teaching it, to
of
be
course
honest
it
with you.
is, of course it is.
It's all of it. It's the education system. It's the media. It's everything. We're being told that we should somehow like get on our knees and grovel and apologize because my granddad's granddad was involved in this in the trading of slaves. Well, guess what? So are your own fucking people. We didn't go in there and steal your people. They were sold to us. Like no one's hands are clean from this, and no one, right? It tells you everything you need to know that in a Christian country here in the UK, right? Nowhere on the syllabus is the Barbary slave trade taught. I mean, we were enslaved for just as long as Christians as black people were during the transatlantic slave trade. It was roughly 300 to 350 years. I think there was something around 3 million people were enslaved, primarily Caucasian Christians. Like no one talks about it. I've done videos.
Mate, we
on
were
it,
invaded by
removed from social media.
Vikings. We were invaded by Vikings for a long period of time. Yeah.
Shit happens. Get over it. No one needs to
Yeah.
pay some sort of reparation, and no one needs to feel guilty because of something that someone did hundreds of years ago. Like it's stupid. Move on.
But it goes back to what I think all of us have mentioned before. It's division, isn't it? It's to keep the divides. And I know Aaron's touched on it before, even with sport. It's just seeding that division in everyone, which is again
dumbing
why I
people
think
down again as well. It's just dumbing people
and it
down.
is.
Easier to control, easier to manipulate.
Yeah. And it's the same with the left-right divide, because I don't believe it exists. It doesn't exist in anyone, but it's a narrative that's driven left-wing this, right-wing that, left-wing this, right-wing that. And it's pushing people into their brackets to the point where now people are identifying more as right-wing and left-wing than they are with a political party even. I'm right-wing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's create, and there's so many facets to it. Like you could be right-wing, and Rich, we've spoke about this. You can be right-wing and really heavily against immigration, but you could also be right-sided and capitalistic, but heavily against over unregulated capitalism, which I am. I'm fundamentally against massive profiteering in capitalism. I believe in regulated capitalism, which then pulls me further to the other side. And there's so many different caveats of what people will and won't expect through various different things. But again, it's the divide: left wing, right wing. It's your
wing, your gender, your sex, your identity, your sexuality,
everything. Yeah.
Which football team you support. I don't know if you want to wrap up this episode in a minute, guys, and we'll do another one. But I mean, you look at the. Obviously, we've just seen PSG and Arsenal and what's happened in France as a result. But that's not unique.
And
to
in
France.
London.
Like I've seen. Yeah, and in London, like we've seen, when I was, 13, 14, maybe 15, our football club at our school used to meet up with the school 2 miles down the road because they had their own football team, team, not club. And we used to fight over the fact that we had different teams at our schools. Like,
yeah,
it's nuts, and it's kind of like, obviously, as a kid, you don't really think about it. But then, as I've grown up, I don't even like football anymore because I just think it just turns men into mindless children and women. But we see it everywhere now. Like men will go out on a Saturday, and they'll come home 16 hours later, and the wife's like, "Where have you been?" It's like, "Oh, it all kicked off down at the at the ground." It's like men can't just go and watch a game now and like not kick off.
That was me 2 years ago. Yeah. Fuck's sake!
I could never imagine you. Mind you, people couldn't imagine me having a scrap. Couldn't imagine you having a scrap.
Terrifying. Yeah, you would want to.
Oh, wait till these glasses come off, sunshine.
But it's not even having a scrap, is it? It's like you're just boisterous and laddie, and it's that, innit? It's that. And you get with 10 other lads.
Inherently, it is in us as men anyway. We are a little bit boisterous. We've always fought throughout history. So I think we need to embrace it a bit more, but we don't need to take it out on each other outside
But
of
this is what I
sport,
was
like
so
maybe
I did a video on
including
the Arsenal
some
thing,
sort
and
of
I said
physical
exactly the same
contact
thing, Swan,
sport
as
in
what you
school?
had to. Yeah, I said that. I always remember back when I was an England like I still am an England supporter, but I don't follow football anywhere near what I used to through my 20s and early 30s.
Undercover
I
German.
remember being down the pub with the lads, and it's all England, 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 giving it all the Billy Big Balls throughout the World Cup. But I don't remember seeing like Liverpool supporters going on a parade and then all having a punch up, like girls and blokes punching the shit out of each other throughout their own parade. Like I don't remember seeing that. I would see the England fans fighting against the German fans, would see the English fighting against the Turks, etc., or whatever. But I never really saw massive infighting like documented on national TV of a parade turning into their own supporters beating the crap out of each other.
I just want to say
It's
one thing
me.
quick, Rich. The
Or
reason I
go
just
on, mate.
mentioned London as well is because Arsenal have just had their Premier League Champions Parade and 6 people got stabbed.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Is it up
like,
to
what the
6
fuck
now?
is
Is it?
going on? 6 people got stabbed. That's what, well, I checked just before and it says 6 stabbed Arsenal winners parade. So, and then
Jesus.
obviously on the flip side, PSG celebrating in Paris. Like, what the fuck is that? That's a riot. They're setting fire to cars. There's fireworks in the streets. There's looting going on. There's people getting beaten up. There's like, what the Europe and the West is just, it's gone. It's chaos. It's gone.
Wouldn't it be like, I'm not going to say funny, I'll say hilarious. Wouldn't it be? Wouldn't it be kind of funny if if one of the things that's meant to cause so much division and keep us all separate, like football, is the thing that breaks the camel's back when it comes to kind of like, our inability to actually integrate properly because it's never going to work. Like, I think it would almost be, funny to me anyway, if football is the thing that makes everyone go, right, that's it, we've had enough, integration's not going to work, it's not our greatest strength, diversity and all the rest of it. And then that's what ultimately leads to, I'll say, the rebuilding of the country, because we know it's coming. I'm not advertising it, I'm not saying I agree with it, but it's
I
coming.
think the football lads and like the football supporters, and I don't say lads as just men, I mean the football core supporters, I think they're going to have a huge role in this. And there's another Football Lads Alliance for the Children march going on sometime in this year. I think it's September, which I think will be the third one. Now, when they want to get together, they can get together. When they want to unify, they can unify. And I think they will play a huge part in us rebuilding this country. It's just a matter of when is football not enough anymore to distract them from our problems. Because at the moment there's football on TV Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then you go down to the game on Saturday and you spend the weekend with your mates talking about the football. Like they haven't got time to care. That's a full-time job right there, being a football supporter. So
Do you know what would be really powerful if they were to do things like say, right, lads, everyone get to the football ground. There's a game on, and then like I don't know if they do it in the UK because I don't watch football. In America they'd have like the signs and they'd turn them over and it would like spell stuff.
yeah, like a tifo, you can get.
They should get themselves to like football grounds, like the more high profile games, and be like, right, lads, let's all get there and let's like push a message. That's a bit hippie, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, just
But
Well,
you need
the-
that. They do.
Naturally.
But a lot of them do it. A lot of them do it. They do it anyway. They'll put they'll put big banners up.
The
If they're
general
trying to
rule
get.
under football from supporters, players, clubs, managers is that you keep politics out of it. But obviously, when George Floyd died, everyone took the knee. So, at what point is politics going to stay out of it?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that then kind of sparked the whole rainbow armbands for captains, and you start seeing more of that creeping in. So effectively, I think what they're doing again, they're just trying to create division inside football to make it more than again. It's diluting. It's dilution, isn't it? It's diluting everything to create so many little pockets. It's like they're creating loads of little boxes inside boxes, if that makes sense. It's like,
keep
do
making
you know what
boxes smaller for everyone. Yeah.
yeah,
It's just
and,
creating chaos, though. It's
yeah,
just chaos. Let's just label it as
yeah.
chaos. All of our heads are chaos. We're processing these 3 second reels constantly. What's happening on Netflix? What you got to do? What you got to pay? Keeping food. Like there's just so much in life right now. And the more we've got to talk about, the more we're distracted. We're never all going to get around the table and say, right, let's fix our problem, which right now is our government. And
Well, I don't
that's it.
think it's any coincidence that today, in the same day, we've had Henry Novak's trial results for that fucking monster that killed him. I can't even remember his name.
Vikram
We've had
Digwa.
the Vikram Digwa, thank you. So we've had that today. We've had Peter Mandelson today. And then we've had, what was the third one? I know we've just had Paris, PSG, and there was something else. There was a third thing.
I mean, Keir Starmer's been
This is what
forced
I
to
mean, I
make a
can't even
statement
remember.
about Henry Nowak all of a sudden. You've got Nicola Sturgeon coming out and saying that she didn't know her husband stole money from the SNP.
That
Like,
was it.
there's so much noise out there today. It's crazy.
Then you've also got some of the stuff that I did this week, where you've got the health bill going through Parliament, created on the 14th of May, where they're literally stated they're going to abolish the NHS. Then you've got Rachel Reeves coming out yesterday saying they're going to reinstate PFI for house building, which they already caused a fucking hell of a problem with our economy the last time they were in power through PFI in the hospitals. And this is all now becoming backstage news. So this is,
Yeah.
again, it goes back to the
On
division. It goes
purpose.
back to the segregation. Yes, of course it is, because it distracts people from paying attention to what's really going on. Luckily, the videos I did on that health bill blew, like people were really interested in that. And the worst thing is, they're not even hiding it. Normally, when I used to go through a bill, I would have to dig. I'd have to use AI to help me. I'd be like, find the red flags. What I want to find stuff on authoritarianism. I want you to find stuff that relates to this, particularly. Now I just turn around the AI and say, find the red flags in this. But I don't even have to. I went to the contents page on the health bill, and the first point, number one, is abolish the NHS. Like right at the top, because they know no one's going to fucking read it.
And ironically, that's the argument the left have used to not vote for reform.
Yes.
I'd love to hear what they've got to say
And it's
now.
not even a valid argument, to be fair, because when they're like, oh, they
It
want to
never
abolish
was.
the NHS, it's like, that's never been said. It's never been said. I mean, you know, Brucey, I'm no fan of Nigel and reform, but I've said myself on my social media, like, no, that when they're talking about putting like basically an insurance in place, like just go and read it, people. It's pointless even trying to explain it to you. Just go and read it. They're not trying to get rid of the NHS. They're just not. We see these news stories all the time where like random things will just pop up. But like you say, Swano, like you've just said, everything happens so quickly now. In 2007, and I'm not trying to dismiss it, although I'm in two minds as to whether it even happened, to be honest with you. One little white girl went missing in Portugal in 2007, and it was international news. Now, we know hundreds of thousands of children go missing every single year that we know of, just in Europe, right? That we know of. It's millions globally every single year. Yet one news story from 2007, one little girl went missing in Portugal. And I don't want to say this in an insensitive way because obviously we haven't heard the fucking end of it. And it always crops up when there's like a bit of a slow news cycle and something needs covering up. It's like, oh, don't forget Madeleine McCann. It's like, it was 2007 . It's dreadful. However, since then...
Her mum said this last week. Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, they've been spotted on holiday in Madrid. Like, who cares? It's nuts that since then, tens of millions of children will have gone missing. Just since then, that's the one fucking news story they keep dragging up. And it's always around the time when there's other controversial stuff going on.
And in fact, there was actually a more horrific crime that happened in my area with the two girls from Soham who were murdered by Ian Huntley.
Yes, yeah.
Right in this country, this happened, and they caught him. I think he's dead now, and someone did him over.
When you say, look, why is that one news story? You know, it happened in Portugal. It was one little girl, dreadful, absolutely dreadful. However, why is that the one story that keeps being pushed again and again and again? And people go, well, because it's really bad. It's like, millions have gone missing since then. Why is that the story that they cling to? Like, because it's established, because they know everyone's aware of it. It hooks people in. It diverts attention. That's why. But when you say to
There's
people,
so many cases, out there that aren't spoken about, but they have proof of, you know, sexual misconduct or kidnapping or torture or being held in a concrete block for 72 hours, like actual proof, and they won't speak about it. But we think we might have a lead about the guy that did this to Madeline, you know, X amount of years ago. And it's as you say, it's just done on purpose to keep people distracted. And I used to run a newspaper shop. That is pretty much what I've done my whole life. And I tell you what, people are sucked in. They care about those front pages more than we think. When it's about Madeline,
no,
my
Aaron,
God.
don't ever. I don't. I know. Like, and this is what I keep saying. So we're all in the social media space and we're actively into politics. You would be shocked. I think the problem is when we go out and do stuff, we can probably talk about this in the next episode, but when we go out and do stuff, I don't think we realize that what a small community of people we really are. Even if you went to UTK and there's 300, 400, 500,000 people there, when you actually scale that out to like I said there, I said we're 1 in 5 people maybe that wanted to be there, but we're also 1 in 20 people that haven't even got a fucking clue what's going on. It's terrifying. And I see these kind of things. I try my best to change algorithms and stuff to see what other people are talking about. And I really do actively try and do it because I hate seeing it. Because generally my newsfeed turns into the same thing. Asylum seekers, fucking knife crime, same thing. Same people talk about exactly the same stuff. So trying to look and see what the other side is saying. And again, like, they're just fucking talking bollocks about stuff. I just sit there thinking, like, if that's your newsfeed every day, your worldview is going to be so fucking different to what ours is. It's mortifying.
Last month, a story came up, and you guys will probably be aware of it. There were two gay men who fostered.
Yes.
They raped a 13-month-old baby.
Mate, it made me want to cry. It was that bad.
Yeah. And it was in the news cycle for, I think, 2 days.
Yeah.
And then it just vanished.
Yeah.
And everyone cracked on. They went back to normal. They watched footy. They went back to their TikTok videos of cats playing pianos. Like, that's how sickening we are now as a society. And people don't mean to do it on purpose, but that's how fucking closed off people are. Is that a news story like that can be put out, and 2 days later, literally no one cares.
We're all caught up in the chaos, aren't we? And it's by design. They've got what they want. We're so distracted. We really do not know what's truthful and not these days, what's wrong and what's right, which way to turn, which political answer. It's just pure madness. And then all these important topics that we should probably, spend some time more in. Is that the right word? More in? We should spend some time. We should spend some time thinking about what's happened and talking about it and finding the right justice and seeking the answers, but we don't. As you say, we're just onto the next topic and it's all just left in the past. Scary.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching, and catch us in our next episode, whenever that is. Bruce?
Well, I think what we've said is we're going to start just putting weekly episodes out, aren't we? So we might get 3 in a week. What?
Just say don't know, catch us in the next episode.
We're all going to try our hardest to get you as much content as possible. Stay tuned. Bear with.
But Swano's always too tired.